Alex, right here in the front. Before we talk about the fight, we see looks like a thing on your wrist, thing on your foot. So I guess physically, how you feeling after a fight like that?
I feel good. My hand hurts. Charles has a hard head and then a hard knee. Kicked his knee like right. Took a step back, kicked him right in the knee. Toe to knee, pretty banged up, and then my hand just from punching him. But other than that, I feel pretty good.
So both of those came from you punching and kicking him.
Yeah.
So I guess when that happens, do you feel it in the moment, or is it when the fight's over, all of a sudden you have this sharp pain in your hand and your foot?
I don't know. People say that you don't feel anything, but I feel it. I'm like, holy shit. Like, I was glad that he didn't notice because when I kicked and I stepped back, I couldn't really push off my right foot. And I was like, this is not good. So I was like, man, I got to keep it in this certain range, where I don't have to dive in, like kind of bounce in and out. So I just try to keep it in that range. But as soon as I kicked and I put my foot back, I felt it right away. And I was like, yeah, I got to keep this kind of in this center.
In terms of the actual fight, it looks like the first time you dropped him, he might have gone out, and then when he hit the canvas, he kind of snapped back into it. So did you notice in there that, maybe, because even the commentary was like, oh, he's out, he's unconscious, he's looking off into God knows where?
No, I didn't notice. So me and Charles actually trained together years ago. We actually lived in the same house. Team Oyama, Coach Con Oyama, back in 16, 17, opened a fighter house, and Charles actually came to train with us. So I live with Charles. I know Charles. I know he knows my son. I know his daughter. When we first signed this fight, we actually FaceTime each other and took a screenshot together. Like, hey, we at one point in time we weren't in the UFC yet. So at one point in time we both thought we'd be in the UFC, and I don't like hurting a friend, but at the same time too, his business. He would have done the same thing to me, and I we talk right now, and it's all respect, it's all mutual. We have a job to do. My back was against the wall. He knows that. I know that. So yeah, it kind of sucked having to hit him because a couple times I felt like he could have stopped it, but it's not my job to tell the ref when to do his job. My job is to keep out there and keep fighting, and that's what I kept doing.
So when you were living with him, were you also like training and sparring with him too?
We trained, we sparred. We lived in the same house. We drove in the same car. He came down for about a couple of weeks, maybe 2-3 weeks. I was the only one with the car, and I was like, yeah, jump in, man. He's a really good human being, really good person. I have nothing but respect for him and his family and everything he's trying to accomplish.
So is there anything you can take away from those old sparring sessions, or are you guys just totally different fighters?
Totally different fighters. We've trained, even when we had Fight Island, we're out there. I was out there a couple times coaching. We would meet up and train in the hallway because that's the only place you can train. You can't leave your floor. So we're trained there. Like I said, nothing but respect for Charles. He's an awesome dude.
Then in terms of your own career, what are you hoping for the rest of the year? Because I think you said it might be your last fight on your contract, and then you had the weight issue. So I guess what do you want moving forward?
For me, the weight issue, I think it was just too back-to-back, too close. I fought in Doha, I'll come back through the holidays and do this again. I tend to think I'm still young, which I'm not. I'm 33, be 34 in March, so I can't make those quick turnarounds like I used to. When I fought Makayev, Nicolau, and Tarsu back-to-back, I did have, weeks where I didn't have to really worry about the weight and get enjoyed. This was hey, boom, right after, hey, we were right back in the camp, body stressed out, everything, it was just one of those things. So, I think for me, what I want to, hopefully I show the UFC I still belong. Hopefully, I had to sit down and talk to management and talk to McMahon. Hopefully, they can forgive me for this, and, and hopefully I can get a couple more fights in. I still think I'm one of the best guys in the world at this weight class. I still think I compete for a title. It's just kind of climbing from here.
I was going to ask, do you think this is the performance that kind of puts your name back on their desk? Because Charles has the win over the current champion. It was very impressive, and everyone was calling for that rematch, and now you just put him away.
Yeah, Charles hasn't been finished. I think I'm the first person to finish him. To do it on the feet like I did I feel like it's impressive. People don't look at me as a knockout artist or a striker. Is kind of like a wrestler, kind of just a mixed martial art guy. Wherever the fight goes. So for me to do that and where I feel Charles is the best, I think that shows a message to the division, but shows a message to the matchmakers. Hey, I'm still here. I'm still willing to fight and put on performances like this.
You mentioned you're back against the wall. Were you feeling with the 2 losses? Did you feel like this was your job on the line coming into tonight?
You feel like that all the time. You never know what the UFC is gonna do. their company, like they've run a great model, the best company in the world. You know, you just never know. I've seen people off of wins get cut. I've seen people off of losses get cut. I've seen people have, you know, Sam Alvey had so many chances, right? But he went out there. He was a company man. Went out there and fucking put on shows. You know, so kind of whatever the company wants, you know, they'll do. Like I said, hopefully they like me enough to keep me around. You know, like I said, Mick Maynard, Sean Shelby, and those guys. One, Mick Maynard has built up that flyweight division from when I first got here. You know, they're talking about cutting it to where it is now and how much buzz is around it, how much talent's around there. Like, he's done a great job building up that division, and all the divisions in general have gone so much better. So, like I said, like, they've done a good job. So hopefully they still see me in their plans.
And last one for me, I was going to try to get clarification from Dana later on, but they've switched it up and said anybody gets a finish, they get a bonus. But typically in the past, if you miss weight, you don't get the bonuses.
Yeah.
Do you have any sort of understanding beforehand of whether you'll be able to get any sort of bonus or whether you'll be eligible for it?
Nah, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not really worried about that. I'm just glad I got the win, you know. That's the biggest thing. The bonus is always great. Don't get me wrong. Who doesn't want an extra 25,000, you know? But for me, just getting the win, showing them I'm still here, I'm still a company guy, that I'm still willing to, you know, put on shows like this.
I know a lot of us on the outside were happy to sort of hear the numbers that the bonuses went up. You as a fighter, were you guys happy with the amount of the bonuses that got raised, and let alone the finish bonus?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I was happy with the 50,000. I'm glad with the 100,000. I'm glad with now you get 25K. You know, I feel like everybody in the world wants a raise. You know, you could talk to the janitor outside. He wants a raise too. You know, so I'm just blessed to be able to be a part of it where I get, you know, I'm eligible to get that much, you know, extra benefits and stuff like that. So, like I said, like, I'm grateful for whatever they give me. Extra $1,000, cool. You know what I mean? Like, I'm cool with it. Whatever they give me, I'm grateful for. I'm glad the bonus is going up. I'm glad that people are starting to see this as a mainstream sport. You know, before it wasn't like that, but I'm glad that we're making the improvements and everything's going in the right direction. You know, everybody talks about the NFL and stuff like that, but that didn't start changing until recently. It took a long time. I think the same thing with MMA. Like, I'm helping out the next generation come out. My generation might get some of the benefits. The generation after me is going to get more benefits and to kind of keep building like that.